Hey dude, great song. Some of the tricks we talked about, which probably won't apply to that particular song, were if you were in A minor, I know you think about it like C, you go to B half diminished, and I pointed out that half diminished chords, if you drop the root, become major sevenths. So they have this really cool relationship to one another. So you could take a B half diminished, drop the root, and then resolve it to an A minor if you're in A. Or you could resolve it in a really weird way to an A major 7. Conversely, you could start with a B half diminished and then do a B flat dominant, which resolves a little better to an A minor. That's adding a 6 to it, that high F sharp. A minor 6 in this case is kind of cool. We also talked about chord subs. So a third above or below any triad, major or minor, can always function as a substitute because 2 out of the 3 notes are identical. So in your bridge, you were going C, G, C, G. And to break out of that kind of cage, at one point I said, well, what if you just played A minor to E minor? The 2 chords a third below. In another world, you could have gone up a third with each chord. So C could have become E minor, and G could have become B minor. So sometimes that'll work to harmonize the same melody. And just bumping into those possibilities, then you start to think, well, what if I put all of those together? Maybe I'm going to create some new progression that I wouldn't have thought of before by thinking in substitutions. So that was one thought from today's lesson as well. The other was, if you're going to go to D minor for that bridge, you could proceed it with an A7. That can be a very satisfying way because that's the 5 of 4. I'm thinking in A minor, of course. What else came up today? As harmonic tricks. Of course. So like a chromatic walk up from a C. So I suggested the second half of your bridge potentially, instead of going, what did you sing? It was, I can't remember what you sang, and then we did the A minor. Instead of A minor to E minor again, you could kind of walk back up. C over B, G over B. But when you get to a C, this is just something you could explore for future writing. You go C, or C major 7, to C sharp half diminished, which is that chord I showed you the first lesson, to a D. So now you have a chromatic walk up C, C sharp, D. You can walk it up to that D 911 instead. There I just did a minor third to lead to the E minor. But the other way to do that was to take a D, shift the whole triad up and down to the left, add the pinky to the high E 2nd fret. That's a D sharp diminished 7, which resolves most obviously to E minor. So this kind of sound. So as a hypothetical, just an exercise, C sharp half diminished, D, C sharp diminished, E minor, or E major to surprise people. There was another thought in there. I wanted to relate this to what you've done before. I'm almost positive I've seen you do this. A7, where you take the root and sharpen it. Right there, that's an A sharp diminished 7. All you have to do is sharpen the root of a dominant 7, and that usually leads to a B minor. So it's the equivalent, but it looks and feels very different in E minor. See you, bud.